teams that have already clinched their place in the USL Championship Central Division. Postseason lies ahead for Memphis and Laurent Kessiedou. 4 goals, 3 assists for Memphis 901 FC. Looking for a second upset this month against Louisville City. And their leading man, number 17, with 17 goals on the year. Louisville Memphis is coming up next. Rainy night in Louisville as Louisville City returns home. Close of the regular season just a week away. Final home game, and under the threat of rain throughout the night, Lynn Family Stadium playing host Louisville City and Memphis 901 FC. Tonight's match is presented by Campbellsville University. Find your calling for life change at culouisville.com. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr with you. Here's the Central Division. Birmingham, Louisville, Memphis, they've clinched.
This division is an absolute mess, Mike, and I am here for it. I love what we've seen in terms of parity in the USL Championship, and the fact that the Central Division is going to come down to the final day for a playoff spot, for seeding, and for the #1 overall. Let's go.
Devin, let's make it clear. These teams played not too long ago. Memphis won it for them. Buoying for Louisville, well, that road trip didn't go so hot.
It was another story that, unfortunately for Louisville, has already been told. We've read it, right? We're going to play really well. We're going to go out, stomp our feet, get a goal, and then turn it back around. 901 FC said, guess what? We don't care when you concede. We're just going to tickle the nylon.
And they've done a lot of that recently. Their defense improved as well over the last 8 games.
Memphis does have an identity. So I use the word we for Louisville. We for Memphis really has become this collective effort. They don't do a million things well, but they do about 5 or 6 of them excellent. And that's the great thing. They're nitty, they're gritty. They can still build back to front, but watch them in transition. Fantastic over the last 8-game stretch.
Meanwhile, Devin, for Louisville, back to the postseason for a 7th consecutive year, trying to get to a conference final for the 7th consecutive year. Phenomenal at home. We've seen some of their stars really come out and play well this year, as well as they ever have.
If you would have told me that Paolo Del Piccolo would have 9 goals in his career, I would take it, yet alone in an entire season. Brian Ownby healthy at another level. We've talked about that before. This team has lost the most amount of games from August on in any season in history, and yet you and I are still sitting here talking about the opportunity to win the division, to grab home field advantage up until the Eastern Conference Final. That's not a little bad slump to be in.
All right, Dev, let's do it. Louisville, Memphis meeting for the 4th and final time this year. Lineups and kickoff when we return to Kentucky.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
Get a tasty 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $2. Deal available only on the app.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked Best In-State Credit Union in Forbes magazine for a 3rd time. When we opened our doors in 1951, we named ourselves Commonwealth to remind us every day of who we're here to serve. Our friends, our neighbors, right here in the Bluegrass. And we've been bettering lives in our communities ever since. If you've never tried Commonwealth Credit Union before, come check out what you've been missing. Because here, we see you differently.
Here's to Dr. Davis proving that the Negro doctor has arrived.
My research will save the world.
In heaven's name.
Thousands of people just showed up.
The total number is 4,400.
They continue to hold us as prisoners.
Back up!
Get a tasty 10-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $2. Deal available only on the app.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tonight marks the first time Danny Cruz walks these touchlines as the full-time manager. 2 games ago, the interim tag removed. Multi-year deal, Devin.
I think it's easy to look at the players around the team and just go, you know what? That's easy to get it done. Absolutely not. Plenty of people have been handed a Ferrari and driven it right into a garage. A bad one caused a wreck. Not the case for Danny Cruz.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Hometown Pizza. First for Louisville City. They've made 4 changes.
The most notable one is going to be Niall McCabe into the holding midfielder spot, the 6 as we all know it. But Corbin Bone and Del Piccolo is the preferred pairing right in front of him. A front line of Cameron Lancaster, Gonzalez, and Ownby. Love to see what it looks like. But Niall McCabe, you have to go back to that, Mike. You lose 2 6s and Napo Masoso and Tyler Gibson. He's got to be the one to step up here because the way that this team plays, moves in transition, there's so much rotation. That is the guy who holds it all together.
That's why he's our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch. Commonwealth Credit Union, bettering the lives of the communities they serve for 70 years. Learn more, WeSeeYouDifferently.com. We think this is how the starting 11 looks for Memphis.
The lineup card is lost in translation, and then when you look at the players available, Ben Pierman rolling the dice here a little bit. Salazar and Dolly, that's fine, you can move forward. Speed on the outside. The only 3 defenders are Evans, Logue, and Thomas. Can they find a 4th? It doesn't seem like it. Never seen this before from 901.
Memphis, Louisville for the 4th time this year, underway from Lynn Family Stadium in the home regular season finale for Louisville. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Louisville with a win today could jump ahead of Birmingham with 1 game to go at Birmingham. Legion play tomorrow. For Memphis, they're trying to grab the 3 seed away from FC Tulsa. The victory here today would change the arithmetic there, but both these teams are postseason bound. Sharpie on the ball. Comes over to Tosh. Field's going to be a little bit wet here tonight, Dev. It's going to ask for the kit man to bring the right length of stud to the field or risk disaster.
The good news is I have received an update from site, and Ben Holzman did go deep into the well, pick out a quality rain jacket for Danny Cruz on the sideline. I would imagine Ben Pierman has the supporting cast to set him up for success.
I would hope so. Time will tell. Jimenez. Ownby. Caroms off of Breck Evans. Throw for Louisville. Ownby off to the best assisting season of his career with 2 games to go, including tonight. And then there's playoff Ownby.
A little different of a breed, isn't it?
No kidding. Bouncing back, Gonzalez, Sharpie. Hubbard starts in goal for Louisville tonight. It's his 22nd start of the season. Dev, we spoke to Danny Cruz in the lead up to this game, Louisville City manager, about the 2 consecutive defeats on the road. And this is a side right now that's just trying to get their bearings right and handle critical moments in the match right before heading into the postseason.
That's the biggest talking point, right? The Achilles heel. And conceding late just before halftime at the tail end of a match. You work so hard, Mike, and really the brunt effort, preparation up to the game, and then your performance overall has been fantastic, and just not being able to see it out in those finite moments that are so critical. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. Not even around the league, yet alone from a Louisville City squad that notoriously gets better as the season goes on. And you got to find a way from a mental standpoint to push through that blockade, lead on guys like Cameron Lancaster. Look at someone like Paolo Del Piccolo in the midfield. Of course, the ever steady Sean Tosh on the back line to help push you through those moments, because there's been a ton of them. And it's time to turn that corner if you're Lou City.
away by Cody Cropper. Tosh got up there. Bone. Tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program. For Louisville, watch that overload.
They go hand in hand here. The overload with players switching to one side, Mike. The way that this team can counter in 901 FC, they'll pump guys into separate areas as well. So you'll see a Leston Paul drift to the right side next to Kadeem Dakers and then get an overlapping run of Allen Wynn. That's where the overload gets opposing team, into trouble. Lou City have to be wary of that. And then the shape. When you do step that way for 901 FC, can you then make sure defensively you're still sound? That's where they've gotten themselves into a bad corner and rough situations that they haven't always been able to work themselves out of.
Out to Onby. Gonzalez whips this forward. Bone ran out of real estate. Sean Tosh came off the field a moment ago. He's got some gauze under that lip. Merely a flesh wound, we can hope.
Sort of curious to see how long this stretch continues for Louisville, because we've talked extensively, Mike, over the past couple of games of what needs to happen. There's also a want within that, right? Because the needing of something to change isn't new for any team around the championship. You can look at plenty of teams that have encountered their fair share of problems. You look at someone like 901 FC, who's had injuries and guys making their way back. And okay, so how do you plug their holes? They're still dealing with it right now. You look at someone like in the Western Conference of Phoenix Rising that struggles at the outside back position. Got to find a way to plug that hole. But tactical changes and a mentality are two totally different things.
Oh, this is a great effort by Dolly. Hubbard got there.
And the mental side of it, it's always been the most interesting aspect of this for me, because you can't teach it for the most part, right? I mean, you can give, there's sports psychologists you sit down with, you can do team building exercises, but you truly can't physically get inside of someone's brain and change it, right? Not that I know of anyway. I mean, I've been listening to those tapes you sent over to me. Not sure what those are doing, but.
Dipping through, Del Piccolo looking for number 10. Ball's taken away from him. I was going to ask when our team building exercises were going to be. I skipped that part of our relationship.
Well, those are the conference calls you hit no on in the reply every single week.
Okay, that's it. I found it. McCabe playing that distinct role as the number 6 tonight with Gibson. And now Masoso out. Ahead to Bone. Screaming off of Logue. Onby. Jimenez. Bone. Bypasses McCabe altogether. Sharpie. They head toward Lancaster. Oh, that was clever to get it back to Kisiadu. You know, Devin, you talk about the mental side of it. To an extent, I think people around the league have started to view it as Louisville has a divine right to reach conference finals, to always be outstanding in October. To your point, there's a mentality point of that where some teams might be lulled into a false sense of security by it. I haven't sensed that in Louisville. Onby serves. Ball knocked away by Cropper. It was Del Piccolo running right down the middle, looking for that final touch.
The familiar face of Paolo Del Piccolo has become all too weary for back lines with the amount of goals that he's stuck into the back of the net this year, 9, and trying to find number 10 inside the 6. Great run. They're so good when they move in transition, Mike, at providing multiple options in the final third.
And Ownby providing that final service as he so often has. A Vivify corner kick. McCabe. This falls for a blast. Up the Estopanel end standing section. Sean Tosh.
How about for the opposition, though, Mike, in Memphis 901 FC? This was a playoff glimmer a couple of weeks ago. Right? I mean, there are plenty of people that looked around this league and just, this was an afterthought that 901 FC would have been involved in this mix.
Especially with all the injuries they've
Bingo.
had.
Yeah.
Even today, Max Talley is on the bench, a 17-year-old who's never played a professional match. So you're still backfilling the bench with some young guys. You could also argue Carlos Mogul is on the bench. Same for Louisville tonight.
And yet, as we said in the open, Louisville, the most games that they've lost August to playoff time in the past 5 seasons. They're still in the running to win their division, and 901 FC, with everything that they've dealt with, creeping up. No longer is the conversation about, okay, can this team make it into the playoffs? They're here. Now just what does the opposing team look like come playoff time? And can you do it at high quality form? Ben Pierman's got him heading in the right direction for sure.
Jimenez, McCabe. Jimenez finds the width. Came off of Dolly. Devin, have you started to piece together the tactics here for Memphis? Because I cannot remember the last time you've ever been perplexed about what the lineup was going to look like based on personnel.
Well, I figured it out, but the funniest thing was I looked and I said, they don't have an outside back and not even someone they could plug into it. And then I looked at you and said, I feel like I remember Alan Wynn at one point in time for Gary Smith in Nashville. He moved into that outside back spot, and what they've done is they've set up in a similar look.
Ball rolling for Lancaster with a deflection off Wynn, corner.
In the absence of Kyle Murphy, and you're moving Michael Salazar up, Kisiadu shifts himself underneath the striker. Alan Wynn is basically hovering in an outside back, wing back type role. The thing you have to understand for 901 FC is their outside mids play very narrow. So Dolly and Dakers already start to pinch in naturally. That benefits Wynn. That gives him help defensively between Dakers on the front side, and you've got Thomas on the back side. So he can sit as a flat 4, but he can bump himself up into the midfield as well. I actually like the look for Memphis.
A Vivify corner kick. He's looking for Tosh. Devin, there are 2 players on the field for Louisville tonight, by the way, who have yet to score a goal this season. They are...
Oh, you're asking me?
Obviously, Tosh was one.
Well, actually, my first guess would have been Niall McCabe.
He's the other.
Okay.
Well, I brought up Tosh. That's why. Okay.
Gotcha. I didn't follow. I don't follow you everywhere, you know. Hard to believe.
By the way, Devin, I'm shocked not to find you in Orange County tonight for Scottoberfest.
Oh, I tried.
A unlimited Scotch tasting just felt like it was right down your alley.
It's amazing what happens when it's invite only and you don't get one.
Fifth third free kick for Louisville. Flick on header from a long way out. No, you've chosen whiskey tonight, so to speak. Cropper will get a goal kick from this.
It is difficult as an attacking player, whether you're Jonathan Gomez or Jorge Gonzalez on that left-hand side, to judge what that look is going to be for 901 FC, because as Wynn pinches himself up high, okay, well, now it's difficult to play through the middle, but just as easily, it can become a one-on-one when Wynn drops off and Dakers slides out and they become more flat on the inside. Those 2 blocks of 4, so consistent with success and 901 FC over the second portion of this season. This has always had quality building blocks in their foundation. Could they find the coach? Could they get the right players within the system? The answer most assuredly in 2021 is yes. Ben Pierman, fantastic talent. Detroit City FC assistant, long time at Michigan State under Damon Rensing. Finally got their guy there. And how many conversations did we have with Mulqueen about figuring out what the vision was going to be? And that never really matriculated fully into their performances.
And even into year 2, they totally scrapped everything and said, we're going to try other options. This into the 6th, there's an appeal by multiple Louisville players. There should have been more to that. Ownby. Ball ahead. Can Jimenez get there? Logue. And he kept it in. This is a throw. Not bad from Niall Logue, who was signed in El Paso in December and then loaned for the season to Memphis. Ownby. Stabbed away. Evans. Updates elsewhere in the league. Tulsa, Indy currently scoreless. The Rowdies have just grabbed the lead through Steven Dos Santos against Loudoun. Put simply, that's a game they're supposed to win.
Most would say.
Yeah. Ownby. Jimenez. 15 minutes ago, Todd Wharton scored for Pittsburgh against Charleston. We've got 75 minutes left in this game. There's a chance we could speak about Pittsburgh and Miami for the entire 75 minutes, but we'll spare you the thought. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota.
Let's go places. It's quiet opening 15 minutes for Louisville, isn't it? It's got to be the most quiet I've ever seen to start a game for them. I mean, traditionally, we've become so accustomed to this high press, high energy tempo coming right out of the gate. Go hunt for that opening goal. They're sort of just taking what the game is given to them right now.
For Louisville at home on average, really it's their average home and road. They score for the first time in the 33rd minute is the season-long average. Bouncing ball, Salazar.
It's unnecessary here from Sharpie.
Free kick conceded. The referee tonight is an experienced one, Joshua Encarnacion.
To the point of the narrowness that can be 901 in attack. With a little pinch in by Dakers. He does so well for himself to get this ball on the turn and keep it in front of him. Doesn't matter the proximity of play for Kadeem Dakers. He can do it in space, ball at his feet.
I think Dakers wished he had played in this venue when he first signed for Louisville.
Yeah.
You think?
Who doesn't? Aiden Quinn in Phoenix right now is going, really, guys? Come on. Matt Fondy's in the Estopanel end going, that's right, I built this place. And Cameron Lancaster's sitting over there going, sure he did, pal.
Kiss you do. He puts this in play. Logue with a blast. Came off the back of Dakers. That was uncomfortable. And meanwhile, Ownby charging forward. Eventually ran out of gas, stepped over the ball, and Wynn lobs it away. Kissy-a-do. Looking for Dolly. I mean, I bet Scott Goodwin wouldn't be a doctor right now if this was the stadium he was playing in. How are these old school Louisville references hitting you?
We're getting there. Although I had a little flash in my brain last night. doing the, let me see if I can get there. This is going to take me a second. It's you know the season's been long when you're having trouble remembering what game you called 24 hours ago. University of Virginia and Pitt. There we go.
And that was a good game, too.
It was a fantastic game. Double overtime, red card. You know I'm always here for that.
Logue. Bounce all the way down to Hubbard.
And the player, this is where my brain is now foggy. I think it was one of the young men from the University of Virginia. His brother was the first ever homegrown for the Columbus Crew. Help me out on that one. You're going to say his name and I'll remember it, obviously.
I hope so.
But he was the first ever homegrown and just so happened to be the running mate of guess who at Louisville, Paolo Del Piccolo, on that great run that they had way back when.
Why we have a crack research team to work on this. I'm sure you're aware. Picked up here by Memphis. Dakers slides this out. Kisiadu rounds the corner, sends the service, launched across. Will come back out to Dakers. I just hope you're not talking about Will Trapp.
No.
Is it earlier than that?
No, much earlier.
I mean, Will Trapp now, I think, is 46 and has a family.
Stop. It's ridiculous.
No. Comes down to Ownby. He's kept in play by Evans, but to his detriment in the end. Tap back Del Piccolo. Outside Gomez crossing Lancaster! That's 18 for 17.
Incredible, absolutely incredible from Lou City. Yes, it's an ill-fated touch on the near touchline, but watch how quickly they go from one side to the other. Brian Ownby all season long, head on a swivel, vision to boot. The little 1-2, the spin-off, Del Piccolo gets the overlapping run, and the person who plays that pivot then makes the back shoulder run right in front of him by Jogo. Johnny Be Good, right in front of Cameron Lancaster. Who's better? Who is better than that man in and around the top of the six?
21st minute. The goal is presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. And we're off and running. Ownby. Ownby drives. Louisville's going to knock down that average opening goal number a bit from 33. Rings off of Del Piccolo.
He's incredible in the air, man. It's next level stuff, honestly.
4th all time. Nice.
Well, at this rate and the lackluster performances that are going on out west, he's going to catch Haji Berry. It's a stretch, obviously. I'm joking a little bit, but
Quinzotti's 4 away. Gomez goes down. He's grabbing his right arm. Returned last game after a trip to Europe with the Mexican under-20s.
By the way, just to close all that off so people at home aren't left wondering.
I'm sure they're all desperate.
The player I was talking about is Philip Horton. His cousin, Aaron Horton. There we go. got there.
If I told you that Will Trapp, by the way, signed as a homegrown 9 years ago, and that also he's only 11 days older than I am, so what's that make me? 50?
I'm not sure I can use one of those words on air, Mike.
Sorry, he's 11 days younger than me.
Younger?
Younger.
Well, now I can use the words.
I should know this because when I went to Cleveland St. Ignatius, he played for Gahanna Lincoln in the Columbus area high school soccer, beat my Wildcats in a state championship.
You sound like you got peanut butter in your mouth when you're talking about those schools.
Penny for Corbin's thoughts? Louisville has struggled this year when they've conceded first, but when they're scoring first, they've only dropped now 12 points. Hoping they don't add to that here today. And Devin, that's going to be the story of this game. I would think if you're Danny Cruz, everyone would rather win 5-0 or have some extravagant goal scoring. I think it's the 0 that he cares about more than anything going into the postseason, especially late in the half, late in the game. Whistle blows, an immediate yellow card coming out. Ownby. That is his 7th yellow card of the year.
You know what, Mike? It's probably one of the few times that I will disagree with you on this subject, but we'll get there in a second. Brian Ownby late, studs up the trailing leg on Niall Logue, and here's why. Given the status of Louisville right now defensively, where they stand, and knowing that they can get it done on the other side of the field, I actually envision Danny Cruz going, yeah, of course they don't want to concede. Nobody wants to concede. But they get so comfortable that 2-0, the 2-1 against a team in playoff time quickly becomes 2-2 and 3-2. I mean, look recently, the 2 losses on the record that we just showed you, Mike, one of those came from 901 FC. Sitting on the other side of the field tonight. And so, yes, they never want to concede goals, but more importantly, mentally, when is that happening and why? The tenacity that you have to start to showcase now. You got to prove to yourself that you can get it done. So if that goal is scored in the 15th minute as opposed to the 45th minute, I think there's a very big difference there. And we are taught not to use the word think. In this situation, I have to say I think because I'm not positive. Right? I'm speculating for sure because I'm not in that locker room. I'm not having the team meetings. I'm not sitting at practices. I have a good idea of what's going on given the conversations and knowing the character of all the players. But there's a big difference for this team right now, conceding a couple minutes in and conceding just before after the end of the game.
Akil creates an opportunity. That's blocked, comes out to Dolly. Evans.
Beautiful touch.
Oduro. Dolly. Dancing to create space. Kisiadu rolls this wide. 4 white shirts all bomb into the box. Kisiadu left that short, picked up by Bone. Of note, the yellow card to Ownby gives him 7 on the year. The only players on accumulation warning coming into tonight, Del Piccolo, Oduro, actually Ben Pierman.
Really?
I know.
Oh,
Memphis head coach.
Ben, you are officially at the top of the Christmas list, my friend.
And Mark Segbers is suspended for tonight. Look at the scores from around the league as the 7 o'clock games hit halftime. Rowdies through Dos Santos. 1-0 up on Loudon. Trying to chase that #1 overall seed, neck and neck with Phoenix. Pittsburgh is taking the lead over Charleston. Dos Santos there, the former Riverhound giving Tampa Bay the lead. And then in Pittsburgh, it's Todd Wharton who opens the scoring. And then you see Birmingham, Kansas City. It's tomorrow, 5 Eastern on ESPN+. Regardless of the result for Louisville tonight, That's going to be the game that's going to tell us what we need to see going into next weekend to decide the division. We'll take a Louisville loss and a Birmingham win tomorrow to lock up the top of the Central Division before next weekend.
Pretty intriguing that the storyline for the divisional winner is going to come down to October 30th. I mean, 1-1-1 in the series. They've each got one. They've got the draw way back one on May 8th, and the 1-1 that was.
I mean, it's intriguing in the sense that this is exactly what you said was going to happen the day the schedule came. Ball ahead to Ownby. Ownby. Pull down Logue. Referee looks in. He's pointing for a corner. There's not a lot of discussion from the Louisville players for a handball, even though that's your first reaction, the way that bounced back down.
Even if it hit him, though, the only thing I would say is the hand seemed pretty close to the body. But seeming of the nature is a little bit. I mean, Brian Ownby does a good job with his speed. Watch the little pinch back over here. Breck Evans does it. I'm pretty sure it hits at hand. How far away is it from his body? That's really difficult to tell there.
Vivify corner for Louisville. Got her from Wynn. This will be a throw. Quite the advertisement, because I still haven't found the brighter side of tequila, Devin.
We have obviously not hung out together.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. Many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Game that's critical in terms of seeding for both these sides who've already assured their place in the USL Championship postseason. Louisville in second, a win. They move out of Birmingham, predating their game tomorrow night against Kansas City. They meet on the last day of the season down in Alabama. For Memphis, third in the division, trying to stay above FC Tulsa. Their final game is going to be well, they've got Tulsa midweek and then Indy to close out the season. Here's what the championship postseason would look like in this portion of the bracket right now. Miami sits in fourth. They're in a bit of a dogfight there, although it looks like they'll likely stay there. And for Memphis, good luck with Charlotte.
Oh, man, that's...
Wow.
I'll tell you what, if you asked me to pick one team based on overall form that scares me the most right now, it's Charlotte Independence. It's not Phoenix, it's not the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it is Charlotte Independence. And there's a lot to take into account in that statement, but just think about the important parts. How good they are right now. No one's better, I promise you.
Dolly rolls back. Odoro. Dolly. Ownby going step for step. Touch ahead from Leston Paul. Pushed aside by Kisiadu. Former Atlanta player Kisiadu.
There's that movement that I was talking about, though, because you've got Salazar, Kisiadu, Leston Paul, and Damodoro all very comfortable on the interior. And then you have guys like Kadeem Dakers and Alan Wynn who can cut from outside in because of the roles they fulfilled at previous teams. Kadeem Dakers with St. Louis under Anthony Pulis, and then what he's been able to do here at Memphis, very understanding of what is asked of him under Ben Pierman. You won't see as much cutting in from someone like Rashawn Dolly. But when you got four guys very understanding of that, and then you can start to branch into the 5 or 6 type zone, Mike, it's difficult. The difference is 33 minutes into this game, I haven't seen a lot of overlapping in those runs. Kisiadu's all over, he's wondering. He's been entrusted with the 10 shirt tonight, being the playmaker type role. A lot of those balls into him, though, have been cut out. So as he moves out of the pocket, nobody else is stepping in to fill that void. It's one issue they're having when they're trying to play centrally.
And it's a Memphis side that's actually had a pretty good record this year. They've gotten a result half the time they've conceded first. Doro goes down.
That's one way to get it done. Ray Gonzalez trying to have some fun on the outside, and just to follow through here, Del Piccolo holds him up. There's not a lot of contact, to be fair. A little bit on that back shoulder.
Ben Pierman was oddly quiet on the bench there. He sat down with pursed lips as if to say he has no intention of being suspended next match for getting a yellow for dissent. What do you think of the style tonight?
I was actually just about to say I love the sweater.
Okay. Well, at the outset we spoke about Ben Holzman doing the job. Ball's given away here. Kisiadu didn't strike that right. Line of 4 Memphis players, and Kisiadu went for glory. We talked about Ben Holzman doing right by Danny Cruz, and here's the look. This is it.
Color scheme. Oh, the high tops. Good for you.
Wow.
Good on you, Ben.
Are those zippers? Are those cargos?
They can be whatever they want to be. Legend. The color scheme's a little off. I would have gone with black pants personally. That's just me. The gray, the black, the white. Bit more distinct, threatening, if you will.
Man, what a migraine. You got it. Yellow cards come out here. McCabe strolls away from this. It's Dakers picking up the card.
Watch the tail end of it. Coming right back through there. Hands to the face. Illegal. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Cards brought to you by Vivify. Del Piccolo. Oh, that's in the concourse. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. Advanced ENT and allergy. I say ahead of the curve, and Devin's going, wait, what?
It gets me, I just relayed to the producer, it gets me every time. A segment that we do on breakdowns for our nationally televised games, USL Championship. Still have yet to receive any of that sponsorship money, by the way.
We'll be waiting a long time. Have you get any of that NIL money? No?
Literally nil.
Header back was a dangerous one. Skylar Thomas hits that to Cropper, and if he's not fully minding his P's and Q's, he's picking that out of his own net.
It's just clogged in the middle right now. So many different players, and the directness that the teams have tried to go so far have failed as well. First touches just like that. Pushed away from each other. Everything is on the exterior of this field. which is funny because player down behind the scene. That's not the funny part. We'll get back to it.
Ownby. Oscar Jimenez. Ownby, a bit of confusion. Injured player down from Memphis. Amadoro remains down. Athletic trainer has come out to take a look.
Pointing to the knee on one side, but grabbing the quad on the other. Gets tangled up with Oscar Jimenez when the ball comes to the inside. He's trying to play it off to Leston Paul, and didn't seem like there was much to it. Little pressure from Niall McCabe on the back shoulder. You do wonder if that's where it comes from. And watch the little spin. It's Jimenez on the right, McCabe on the left. Doesn't seem all that interesting, but those are the ones that tend to be most of the trouble. Pierman cannot afford another injury.
Zappos has unboxed your ticket for the October 28th Racing Louisville match this Thursday against New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC. That's right, Zappos is covering half of your ticket price while supplies last through Tuesday, October 26th at 10 a.m. Come see Savannah McCaskill, right at the University of South Carolina. Carly Lloyd will play her last international match for the U.S. against South Korea on Tuesday. It'll be intriguing to see whether Carly will be a part of the squad for Gotham that night. '41st minute, Louisville takes the lead through Cameron Lancaster, his 18th of the season. He wants another. Cropper comes out with an acrobatic punch. Dakers. Oh, it's brilliant. Straight line speed. Pulls it back. Launches the cross. All the way in front. Diving header. It's in. It's that same old story again. Michael Salazar. Last 5 minutes before halftime. It's 1-1.
It's incredible how much goes right for both of these teams, even with the ball in transition. Watch the recovery defensively. Kadeem Dakers really quick around Wes Sharvey, but then it's quickly 2v1. Jogo drops back in. Niall McCabe stands him up, and then forget about the runners. Sean Tosh just allows him to drift right through. What a run and an explosion by Salazar to the near post. He's got to hit top-notch speed real quick, then get low and redirect it. Beautifully done into the back of the net.
6th of the year for Salazar. Just past the 5 minutes left in the first half. And Devin, this is, Danny Cruz told us it might be a record how many goals they've given up in the last 5 minutes of the first, last 10 minutes of the game.
We talked about it coming in extensively about what he would prefer. Does he want his team to lock it up? Do they want to keep the 0? I said to you, he does not want to concede in the final minutes of the first half or of the game. And we're right back where we started, literally. We're evened up. You get the same exact statistic headed that way. I do not want to be a fly on the wall at halftime for a conversation in the Lou City dressing room.
Dev, try and walk me through this. As a player, when you see a stat like that, what goes through your mind?
Within the squad?
Yeah. And to be fair, Paulo has been very clear as the captain of the team. Paulo Del Piccolo said, look, we're frustrated by the times we're conceding. He's been clear about it publicly to the media, too.
They know it's there. And one thing that happens, Mike, you can actually see it within a singular game, yet alone the fact that it's back to back to back. As a player, you play a bad ball. Okay, you work through it. You play a second ball. Oh, this isn't good. Then a third one. Every single time you touch the ball after that, am I going to give it away? What's going to go on here? On the offensive side, you hit the post once, twice. Goalkeeper makes a great save. You look around. What do we have to do to score? And you feel like there's no magic. You feel like there's just something that's constantly plaguing you and everything around your performance to allow you to push through. But you have to. You have to find another gear in some way, shape, or form to push beyond it. And it's easy to think, well, they can't do it this game. Yes, they can. Because even though you're even right now, you got to finish this half, get into the second 45 if you're Louisville, go get your lead and then see the game out, because it's still going to be a talking point for sure, but at least you haven't let the ghosts come back that were just a couple games back on October 13th when you went to AutoZone Park and 901 FC came from behind to take you down 2-1. Credit to 901 FC, by the way, because they've stuck true to their form in the first half. They've got a lot of midfielders on the field. They haven't been able to get the ball on the inside, but when they've stayed on the outside, slowly but surely, they have gotten their chances. And finally, when they've broken free on the counter in transition, they made the most of it.
Header away by Tosh. That marks the 6th consecutive game in which Louisville's conceded in either the final 5 minutes of the first half or the final 10 minutes of the game. Won't be an own goal against Atlanta. Moreno scored for New Mexico right before halftime in a nationally televised game. 85th minute and 84th minute from Kansas City in that wild affair here in Louisville. And Memphis and Indy have both done it on the most recent road trip. All ahead, and there's a little leap there. Offside flag has gone up. Into stoppage time, presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 2 added minutes. Danny Cruz, by the way, I said, I don't know about a record for most goals conceded in that time. Have you seen Vegas this year? Or Loudon. But percentage-wise, it may well be that those 15 minutes have been quite so excruciating. Coming up at halftime, take a look at what the playoffs could look like, including the all-important game next weekend between Louisville and Birmingham down in Alabama. See where we're at within the league. First half highlights, of course, as well. And Devin gives his measured analysis, as he always does. Cup of this, cup of that.
Spoonful of sugar.
Hornby. Final minute of the first half. Leading Jimenez. Taken by Oduro. Memphis side that clinched a postseason berth for the first time in their 3rd season. Point ahead of Tulsa coming into the night. 6 wins, a loss, and a draw in their last 8. Includes a 4-match unbeaten streak in that span, the longest in franchise history. They beat Louisville for the first time in their franchise history 2 weeks ago. Bone pushes ahead. Lancaster will go for this. Oh, he put it in! You wouldn't blame him if he himself didn't believe it. 2-1 Louisville on the stroke of halftime.
One thing we haven't gotten into this game has been the elements. It's been slow. It's been dirty at times. But the nitty and gritty that we talked about for 901 FC has just gotten them into trouble. They don't step up, they step off. And he hits this thing from another area code. The Butchertown block has never seen anything like this from Cameron Lancaster.
Second tonight, 19 on the year. The goal is brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Danny Cruz sprints up the stairs. Louisville's record at halftime is sterling, and it was about to be a very different team talk at halftime if he doesn't pull that rabbit out of his hat.
I told you the game wasn't over when it came to that conversation, Mike. I said you still got to see this game out, and then another 45 minutes. And by the way, you got Cameron Lancaster, 19th on the season, and he hits this one from about 40 yards out. Watch out, second half.
Serve Pro halftime is coming up. Yes, the elements have been a bit difficult, but the Louisville fans have come out in force. Memphis equalizes shortly before halftime, but it's Lancaster. Not once, but twice. 2-1 at halftime.
Hey, we're back. And
ready to hit the
personal vehicles
30 MPG.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing for 72 months on a new RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
It's pretty easy to see why RAV4 is #1.
Toyota, let's go places.
I saw in the store and it was the perfect gift. It had
7.1 surround sound with a 1,000-watt amp and
the cutest little strap that I knew she'd love. But I think I might have gone a bit overboard.
Now is the perfect time to get your money in balance with an amazing credit card balance transfer option from Commonwealth Credit Union. Get 5.99% APR for the life of the credit card balance transfer with no balance transfer fees when you transfer your balance to a Commonwealth Credit Union credit card. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Louisville's my everything, a city full of dreams. Can't help but feel the pride, 'cause this is where I'm from. There's no doubt about it. This is where I'm meant to be. Got the world in my pocket, and as long as you are here with me, you're everywhere. Got you everywhere. Got you everywhere I go. We are Louisville. We are Louisville.
When we hit the field, it's game on.
Louisville City FC is on the hunt for a third star. This is our city, Louisville City. The city of soccer, the city of champions.
No matter where you're watching the match, when we take the field, we're doing it for you, for us, and for the city.
Watch Louisville City FC take on Birmingham Legion, October 30th at 7:30 on WBKI. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union and Advanced ENT and Allergy.
Welcome back, everybody. Halftime is brought to you by Serve Pro, Louisville City 2, Memphis 901 FC 1. Good day for hats and rain slickers. Let's take a look at tonight's weather report. It's brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. Showers in the forecast. Just a slight wind, so you head off to the team shop, throw on some slickers. You'll love to see it. Dev, this is next Saturday night. We could decide the division here.
Told you for quite some time that it was going to come down to the fateful day, October 30th. So many games and what could be the most dramatic. But for this one in the Central Division, it will be for the 1 seed. Birmingham Legion, they are one of the best in terms of overall record in the USL Championship right now. They've moved Ryan James off the back line into the midfield. The center back pairing of Cronali and Kavita, fantastic all season. Bruno Lopez healthy. You've got Junior Flemings, Eli Cronali, the brother, in the midfield. Zach Haribo, the Swiss Army knife, and J.J. Williams is finally getting back on track. What does that look like for Louisville? This is one heck of a matchup, and what Danny Cruz says is the only game this season that they have been outplayed by an opposing team. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. You will see that match on WBKI, the CW in Louisville, or on ESPN Plus, home to games all season long in the championship and in League One. The Eastern Conference playoffs, if it started today, hasn't changed much so far tonight.
No, if it started today, the most interesting one to me is actually the difference between Louisville being in the 1 and Birmingham being in the 1. And who Miami faces. The Birmingham-Pittsburgh game to me is more intriguing. That's not a knock on Paul Dalglish at all, or Louisville City. I think that's a fantastic matchup. Just Pittsburgh. I've said to you over the course of this season, it's different. It's different because I don't see a huge target on their back as we have in seasons past in 19 or 20. They almost feel a little bit like the hunted in certain areas in other areas. They're not the #1 team. They're kind of being picked off here and there. I think their vulnerability actually gives them the mindset that, okay, we've been through adversity. Now let's go on the road and get the job done. Don't sleep on Bob Lilly.
All right, don't bat an eyelash. We'll be right back. Serve Pro halftime continues. A look around the league and so much more. Louisville 2, Memphis 1 here in Butchertown.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! Change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solik, the back heel in! What a goal!
Luna is shot into the back goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle, and we're back on the road in the aggressively styled, incredibly comfortable Toyota Highlander.
With your choice of a powerful V6
or best-in-class hybrid engine.
The Toyota Highlander can handle anything that comes your way.
And it holds its value better than anything in its class.
During Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing up to 72 months on remaining new 21 Highlanders. Plus 2 years no-cost maintenance.
It's pretty easy to see why.
Highlander is #1. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back to Serve Pro halftime. Couple of beverages in the concourse here at Lynn Family Stadium. Louisville 1. Goal up here after Lancaster grabs the goal in the dying seconds of the first half. 2-1 at halftime. Mike Devin back with you. Here we go. Look around the news and notes from the league. There are 3 tickets left to the postseason to be decided now. We have just 8 days left in the USL Championship regular season. Rick Schantz with an extension, so that Coach of the Year award that hangs behind him whenever we talk to him on Zoom could be joined by a signed contract.
It's well-deserved, though, and to the point of the conversation about Danny Cruz getting named the head coach and what it's going to look like long-term for Lou City. You can hand someone the keys to the Ferrari. This is where I was trying to go extended at the beginning. But what do you do with it, right? Because there have been plenty of managers at different levels, world-class teams, even Real Madrid, that haven't done well when their predecessor, who was successful, and then what happens? Rick Schantz has been able to take that project, combine it with a great general manager in Bobby Dooley, and you see the success year after year. They're still searching for that title. I got a bone to pick with Dane Kelly. Last week, that 5-1 route they're talking about, only scored 2 goals, left me sitting there waiting for his 100th, and he's only on 99. I'm going to send him a telegraph.
How do you think I felt calling the entire Hartford match last night? Anywho, here's a look at the Central Division. Look, Tulsa should be able to clear all this up here tonight.
Should. Tulsa's been trying to clear things up the whole season, Mike. Sorry, let's get that out of the way. This FC Tulsa team, you and I have talked about it. I've never seen anyone so streaky. It's crazy. Win 3, lose 4, draw 1, up, down, left, right. It seems like they're on the up and up again. However, we've seen stranger things in the USL Championship, not so secure just yet.
Here's a look at the upcoming schedule around the league as it pertains to this fixture. It's brought to you by COSAIR Charities. Help a child in our community now at cosair.org/donate. NICU Daly equalizes for Charleston.
That bad man for the Charleston Battery. NICU Daly and Claudio Repetto have been so good for Mike Anhauser and co this season. You do feel bad because it's too little too late for the Charleston Battery. Their stretch of most consecutive postseason appearances over, the only since the modern era to make it every single year, 2011.
So
any
now,
chance Sporting Kansas City to get a win?
No.
I'm with you. Nope. Just clearing that up.
Yep.
Like this weather for these fans.
It is not cleared up, but the second half
Sweatshirt in the rain? Come on.
is coming up here in late October in Louisville. Surf Pro halftime rolls along. Louisville 2, Memphis 1.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle, and we're back on the road again in the rugged new Toyota Tacoma.
With a 3.5-liter V6, crawl control, and multi-terrain select, Tacoma can go anywhere and do anything. And Tacoma's been the #1 truck in its class for 16 years.
#1 in resale value, too.
We're not selling this bad boy.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get a new 21 Tacoma with 2.49 financing, with new Tacomas arriving daily.
People around here love their Tacomas.
Toyota, let's go places.
For the person who's sitting at home putting off going back to school for whatever reason that may be, the time is now to create the future that you've always wanted.
The best part about coming to Campbellsville is that you can balance it. You can balance life and choosing a new career path.
I did not want to sacrifice family on the altar of school, and being able to balance both and have that understanding from the professors is huge.
Everyone's path is different. Your time is now.
Welcome back to Surf Pro halftime. Louisville 2, Memphis 1. Blankets and scarves and, ooh, cotton candy. Devin never gets me the good stuff. Mike Devin back with you. First half highlights. Starting the 21st minute. You ever heard of this Cameron Lancaster guy?
I've heard of him. People tell me he does great things and he's going to go places. Oh, yeah, he does, into the back of the net. Cameron Lancaster, one of the most understated abilities that he carries inside the box is his aerial threat. Look at him just throw his body. He floats in midair and still to be able to get the power, Mike, because this doesn't just deflect off of his head. He redirects this with serious tempo into the corner. The response, Kadeem Dakers finally gets himself some running room, and then watch the little cutback. Defensively, they did such a good job, Louisville, of getting back behind the ball. But once you get there, what are you going to do? Jonathan Gomez tracks the runner. Sean Tosh loses the other one, falls in behind. This has got to be some sort of miscommunication because he literally stops in his tracks. He does not make those types of mistakes. It is something that has really gotten in the way of Sean Tosh all season. He'll go 95% of the game. Then those little small ones, poke gets held out and get you into trouble. Just before halftime, said it wasn't over. Paolo Del Piccolo wins the 50-50. Corbin Bone rightfully says, Cam, go get you some. And he does it. Cameron Lancaster hits this thing from outer space, and it moves. You just said you don't know how? This is how. Look at how true this ball is struck, dipping at the end, moving away from the goalkeeper, and then you add the rain into the mix. Apologies to Cody Cropper from Cameron Lancaster.
C&L Heating and Air halftime statistics, 2-1 Louisville, possession in favor of Louisville, and that's Memphis's game.
You can't fault them for being efficient, though, for Louisville. I'll give Memphis 901 FC credit in this aspect. They kept them quiet. They kept it very quiet. The game was slowed down. They stayed behind the ball. They were composed. said they needed to watch their shape. They did that all half, minus about 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes cost them 2 goals.
Cam be smiling out there. Cropper will try and atone here in the second half. Lancaster stands over the ball, sitting on a couple of goals, looking for a hat trick tonight in the regular season home finale for Louisville City. Memphis trying to dig back in here, grab important points in the race for the number 3 spot in the Central Division. Underway here in Louisville. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Do we have a hashtag?
For us or for the game?
For the game.
No, for us.
I don't want to know what our hashtag would be. Louisville second in the Central, Memphis sitting in third. Win here.
What would the hashtag be?
It's not fit for air.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. That's okay. Neither are we, but they keep bringing us back.
Ain't that the truth? Logue watches this run all the way out. Is there a hashtag for losing in 9 overtimes that I don't know about?
No.
Sorry, buddy. Great time to tell you that this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Homby got a piece, Oduro. It was funny, a couple of years ago, Oduro, when he was in Tampa Bay, Neil Collins said, it's tough to imagine us without him. And I would think if you're Memphis, you probably feel much the same now. Clearly, Tampa Bay has been able to figure out another way to do things, but Odoro's been a really competent piece in midfield for this Memphis team. He brings a little bit of nastiness to that midfield.
That was the Tampa Bay Rowdies team that really allowed him to be the focal point of the midfield in a different role. He would play as that isolated holding midfielder underneath a flat 4. That shape has changed for Tampa Bay Rowdies. The look and performances for Dom Oduro certainly have not. When he's healthy, he's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's the key, right?
The key is that his health has really plagued him since his stop in the Tampa Bay Rowdies organization.
Time in the Manchester City Academy and drafted here in the U.S. by Seattle. Gomez, Gonzalez, Gomez down the line, win. Anything in that for you?
Some friendly fire for sure.
Alan Wynn, 3 years in Nashville, Texas native. Turned over to Bone. Gomez. Good to hear that Jonathan Gomez had such a good experience with Mexico overseas. Results didn't really go his way. Danny Cruz told us something. You and I weren't able to get the hands on the tape there in Mexico.
Played him at center back.
Center back. I couldn't believe it.
I've heard some strange things in my time of where players were utilized on the field when with their national programs. That and Junior Gonzalez, Junior Flemings, there we go. Somewhere in Los Angeles, Junior Gonzalez is going, I didn't play there. But Junior Flemings as an 8 attacking midfielder was interesting to me too. Playing that 8 pivot role for the Reggae Boys, and Jonathan Gomez as center back. I have a hard time putting my mind around either one of those scenarios.
Omby just fires for Lancaster. Jonathan Gomez appears now leaning toward Mexico. Of course, rumors throughout the year that he was going to go overseas. Indeed, he will. And don't look now, but Real Sociedad right now is first in La Liga. He may jump right into a Champions League campaign. feeling we'll look back at that as one of the seminal moments in this league. Ultimately, MLS has shown the inclination to get toward that selling league model. If you're the USL Championship, even more so. There's a lot of value to be had there for clubs' long-term longevity. Up by Cropper.
There are a couple that at the youth level stick out to me. That's going to be one of them for sure, especially in a few years' time to see how it plays out, right? I think another one that comes to mind for me is Alphonso Davies and his time in a preseason match. I understand that at that point in time it was with the senior squad, Vancouver Whitecaps, but in 2018, Vancouver Whitecaps played a preseason game against Las Vegas. And I'll never forget, he picked that ball up, top of his own 18. They were using him as a striker back then on a ball that got played through. He picked it up, went the full length of the field, solo, beat like 7 players. And he was really hyped then. And I just kind of looked around and went, this kid's pretty good. He's really good, actually. And of course, was before he went on to 60+ appearances for Vancouver Whitecaps before the purchase by Bayern Munich. Spent a little bit of time in and out of the reserves and now with the senior squad. Full Canadian international as well.
I remember calling his first Champions League goal in CONCACAF against Kansas City. Ooh, jaw dropper. I mean, genuine. This was 2016. Alphonso Davies wasn't winning any trophies in 2016. But he went through Vancouver Whitecaps too for a brief time. Look at guys like Tyler Adams, who played in Louisville against Louisville in that conference final in 2016. For Red Bull 2.
The glory days.
Well, for Red Bulls,
that was my, yeah.
It's been an arduous trek since then.
Yeah.
They had a few more good years. Unseeded Cincinnati on their way out of the league, so that won a few supporters in this neck of the woods. Gomez streaks through, showing off some of those center back moves. Holmby with advantage played. Seeking Gomez down the line. Got around Logue. Kid's got confidence.
Watch the move coming out of the middle. Then as he explodes down here, Mike, he just hits another gear. But he never looks like it's very difficult. It's just so smooth with his long strides. Watch this move. Now, Logue, apologies. Full steam ahead. Touch behind the back. Cherry on top. Lacking. But not the vision, not the skill set. He at his best is hard to top at any outside back within the USL Championship.
This is one of the better games I remember from Gomez over the past couple of months to this point. Attack is on here for Memphis. Ball flicked across. Comes to the backside. Win onto his left. Off target. And just as I say that, there was no width defensively, and Wynn was trying to capitalize.
His Nashville team almost knocked off FC Cincinnati in first round a couple years on that Red Bull season you were talking about in 2018. This was the role he had too. Gary Smith would use him a lot in the wingback position. Familiar with it. Coming out of the University of North Carolina under Carlos Samuano. Play him in a 4, play him in a 3, 4-2-3-1. They changed so many different systems, and yet always understanding of where you could get the best out of Alan Wynn. That was a glimpse of it.
Wynn was a fun player at UNC, wasn't it? You and I got a chance to see him in the ACC tournament.
They were good, man. They could fly. They'll get back. I mean, they're struggling a little bit right now, but that was a stretch where, I mean, I can remember doing the final with you, and it just seemed like, much like Louisville City in the Eastern Conference, headed to a conference final, it was just a foregone conclusion that they were going to be in the ACC Championship, that this team was going to be a seeded team in the NCAA tournament. Wynn was part of those classes.
Ended up being that U of L team that
knocked him off.
Exploded onto the scene. Lancaster back here to Gomez.
How odd, by the way, that you have a conversation in the 5th minute of a game, not 5th minute, in the 20th minute of a game, 25th minute, talking about conceding goals and what that looks like for Louisville. I made reference to other teams fixing problems midseason. We talked about 901 FC. I mentioned Phoenix having trouble at the outside back position. The outside back for Phoenix Rising, Tate Schmidt, at that point in time striker for that Louisville team that won the ACC championship. Life's a circle, Mike.
It is. Ownby pulls through, wins the ball back. Hey, Devin, what do you do if you can't watch the match?
Try and get some sleep, but that doesn't really happen.
No, you turn on Sirius XM FC, channel 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio. Features Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access every Tuesday night, 7 Eastern. And also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
That was my next guess, by the way.
After, if you can't watch the match, watch the inside of your eyelids. Your next guess was satellite radio.
Yeah, put the clear audio headphones on and bask in all the glory that is 157.
Ignore my salt that you have those and I don't. All the way through here to Cropper.
Someone's got to be sweet, right?
Sure. Bone. Ownby. Early ball came off of Logue. Stabbed by Leston Paul.
It is incredible how much of this game is being played on the touchline. It's so difficult to come right through the inside because of the amount of bodies. Almost contradicts what we're talking about here. With not so much of a clear path to come through, you stay to the outside and you expect as you go that it's going to clear itself up. That's not the case, though. Everybody's staying very compact.
Advantage was played. Didn't work out for Del Piccolo, and here's finally a little room to roam for Memphis.
Nice back post run available.
Salazar. That's not quite the back post run you're thinking about, but got the job done. That, however, didn't. Introducing October's minority-owned business of the month, DeChe's Cakes and Treats. Seeks to serve the community and surrounding areas by offering free birthday parties, celebrations, or cakes for individuals in need. They understand that celebrating important days can be difficult when you're in unfortunate circumstances, so a portion of all money received from cake sales goes to fund a mission of celebrating all people on a special day. We're getting toward the end of the month, so I already remember that I asked an evasive Devin Kerr what kind of cake he wanted.
I'm looking at the Facebook page right now.
I know. We've been there, done that. This is there's a combination of deja vu and Pavlov's dog involved in this for me.
Oh, there's a beautiful Cookie Monster Elmo cake. My little guy at home, he'd love this.
Well, it's the fact that Devin can do a really good Elmo that makes that cake a concerning option.
Until that kid removes the M from the beginning of Elmo and He just, Melmo. Until he stops saying that, he's not getting anything. Vowels and consonants. Come on, man, get it together. I don't care how old you are.
Is that an impersonation of your son?
No,
or of the Sesame Street character?
No, neither. It was just me making a fun voice with Melmo.
Hour gone in Louisville tonight. 1 week to go in the regular season. Louisville is trying to grab first place back from Birmingham for the time being. One would think Tommy Sohn and the Birmingham team, which is preparing for their match against Kansas City tomorrow. Likely paying close attention this evening ahead of the game in Birmingham next Saturday night. That, should this result hold, will definitely decide the Central Division. Lancaster, couple goals. 40-yard knuckleball at the final kick of the first half. Soaring header as well. Goal from Salazar was initially an equalizer for Memphis.
Look at the different look they're giving in their press right now. Brian Ownby had come down low. Jorge Gonzalez had slid to the top right shoulder. Cameron Lancaster had actually moved to the outside, anticipating that ball if it did come through the middle. He's so good defensively at working on the inside. And then Del Piccolo and Corbin Bone were your two main architects of getting this thing going. That's another thing, is you can understand the rhythms of the game, but when the personnel start to change, you lose the tendencies. And it's difficult to track where the next step is going to come from. That's one that we haven't seen out of the home squad yet tonight.
This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. 62nd minute, Memphis enters the final third once more. Evans. With sights set on home field advantage, El Paso welcomes OKC, a side looking to remain in the playoff hunt at all. El Paso OKC is coming up Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. And then we've got a day full of drama coming up next weekend. This finds Kissiadou. Kissiadou with the shot, and there's the save, Hubbard.
The first goal from Louisville City came off the touch that was on the near touchline and a turnover. Same here for 901 FC. Great work on the outside by Kadeem Dakers. And as he cuts this back across, Kissiadou's going to want this back. Doesn't catch it clean enough. Trying to hit it with lace. His foot just comes up over the top of the ball. Skips right to Chris Hubbard. Still a good save. That's an opportunity that he definitely wishes he could hit again.
Devin, I was going to mention that October 30th, next Saturday, it's going to be the craziest day of the year. Seeding and matchups could change rapidly. Ball bouncing through. Gomez went down. Penalty. Joshua Encarnacion points to the spot. Louisville can take away a lot of the question marks about what next weekend means if they can score here.
It's a foul. Corbin Bone, as he plays this through, puts Alwyn in such a precarious position. It's moving away from him. He's behind Jonathan Gomez, who has the lead path to the ball. Watch the little step right there. Oh my.
He's outside the box. You can see Alan Wynn is simply stunned. He still is.
That's the issue right there. From the first two angles, Mike, it's a foul, 100%. But I didn't even question as to whether or not this was inside the box. It's not. Watch the contact right there. That's outside the box. It's close, but it's outside the box. Unfortunate on the challenge. Still a foul, but not a penalty.
It means for Louisville, this is found money now. Lancaster's got 2 goals tonight. Regular season home finale, guaranteed a home playoff game. Lancaster looks for goal number 20 of the season for Louisville. And a 2-goal lead midway through the second half. Can Cody Cropper keep Memphis in this? Lancaster scores! Narrowly by a diving Cropper, a hat trick for Cam.
Go back to the challenge on Allen Wynn through Jonathan Gomez. There is contact. Yes, it's a foul. No, it is not a penalty. Doesn't matter. Referee points to the spot, and there's still work to be done. Cody Cropper reads this. He does really well for himself. Difficult in this weather to get that low with that amount of pace on that frame and make the save. And shocking, Cameron Lancaster, his third tonight. Guess what? 20 on the season for the second time in his career. He has pushed himself above that mark that few have ever ventured to go into. And yet Cam has done it twice.
The goal was presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. So Cameron Lancaster makes it 20. That 25-goal season remains, well, at least the record for now. Haji Berry is on 25 as well for Colorado Springs. We'll see if he can score here down the stretch. But that record very much in peril, but 2 20-goal seasons has never happened in this league.
Remember, he had 26 and 33 overall in that 2018 championship season. Did not play in the final. He's got one more in the rest of this game, of course. Fateful match against Birmingham Legion next week, and then what could be a possible 5 total games given the last game of the season, and then 4 playoff matches to add to that tally.
That is his second career hat trick. The other,
Red Bull.
6-4.
I remember it very well.
Yep.
Oh, he had that ridiculous strike from half field.
He did. That was August 10th, 2018.
That game was ridiculous.
It was 2-0 Red Bull inside 15 minutes. Then Louisville crafted 5 unanswered. Indy and Tulsa at full time now, 1-1. So Memphis is still going to control their position here because they will play Tulsa midweek. The Rowdies have finished off Loudon. It's just the 1 goal from Dos Santos. And then Pittsburgh, 2-1 winners against Charleston. There was an equalizer in that game. But it's Cicerone scoring another one. Birmingham, Kansas City is tomorrow at 5 Eastern.
You are special. Special individual.
3 subs coming here from Memphis.
I thought I had the keys.
Gosh, any other year the scoring race in this league would be wild, but Haji Berry had so seemingly put it to bed by now that we don't really get the luxury of it.
Problem is, he's been taking a nap recently.
Berry on 25, Guinzotti on 21 for Tampa Bay. Now Cameron Lancaster's up to 20. Kyle Murphy from Memphis, who's available off the bench tonight, is on 18. Cicerone just grabbed his 16th of the year. Subs here brought to you by MHS Global. Leston Paul comes off. Dre Fortune on. Logues Day is done. Dakers, the former Louisville player, coming off as well. Got a look at Roland Lama and Zach Carroll as well. Omby. Woo! Zach Carroll, welcome to the game. Stuck him. Talking about that 2016 Red Bull 2 team as if Zach Carroll wasn't there, but
nor Speedy Williams.
He was all league that year. take a look at our nuggets of the match, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Kentuckiana. Louisville's first ever win, a meaningful win against an MLS side, came in the 2017 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup against New England. The winner was scored by, ponder that for a minute. Yellow cards come out. Yellow cards are brought to you by Vivify. That's Kissiadu who's gone into the book.
I feel like that could have been Luke. How do we feel about that guess? Luke Spencer sighting in that game?
Danger.
Am I warm?
Everywhere I go, in relation to a Louisville game, there are two names that are shouted at me.
No, it was Brian Ownby.
It was Brian Ownby.
Okay.
Who else scored that game?
Luke Spencer.
Lancaster.
Okay, there we go.
Oscar Jimenez scored too. And guess who scored for New England? Mark Segbers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. Who is suspended tonight, can't play for Memphis. But did score the winner against Louisville last time these teams met 2 weeks ago.
This will change things up for 901 on the inside. You're already seeing it right now. Kissiadu we'll see him more shoulder to shoulder with Damoduro now. And he'll tuck back a little bit deeper with Dre Fortune coming into the match. Good ball.
Lancaster, Ownby, settles, Ownby, save, Cropper. And it's going the other way. That's a overzealous attempt from Gonzalez to get back in the mix.
What a ball up over through the middle, and then by Brian Ownby. The touch is everything, Mike. Just to bring it down and set himself up to be able to have a strike. I question as to whether or not he needed a pump fake here. You get the slide, Zach Carroll on skates. Some kind of save here from Cody Cropper. He got real close on the penalty, but recovered quite nicely on the hesitation by Brian Ownby.
Ownby, whose face has been immortalized in silhouette form by the fans on the opposite end of the venue. Lancaster driving in, gets the return. Could it be four? Lancaster right at Cropper. Cam woke up feeling dangerous today.
It was a good job by the back line to slow things down. We just talked about Brian Ownby on the other end. There was no panic button, though, at the top of the 18. They knew exactly who was on the ball and where. Hit the pause button, recovered, got in front of Cameron Lancaster. Didn't allow him to continue to carry this across the top of the box. If he does, he's going to use that momentum in his hips, close down. He's one of the best in the business at doing so.
Ray Fortune asking some questions. Bone lobs down the line. Pulled in by Jimenez. Ownby. And the goal Ownby scored in that game, by the way, scorcher. Tosh was knocked down from behind. And that is a free kick.
A little bit of load management coming down the stretch here for 901 FC. Remember, they are still in the driver's seat because of tiebreakers and the way things that have gone on in the Central Division this season. At least right now, 44 points virtually. FC Tulsa, same. But the head-to-head nature that is the 2021 season sees 901 sitting in third instead.
Fifth, third free kick.
Interesting the matchups that would be, right? You'd have currently Charlotte, 901, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and FC Tulsa.
Which Tulsa shows up at Al Lang Stadium, I think will decide that one.
That's the question. I've said all season long, a lot of people have, their fans included, have said things to me about being maybe overly critical at times. The only reason is because I believe in them. They've got the roster to really make some noise, and yet every single time you think that they've turned a corner, they almost put it in park. Say, all right, we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. So many top quality names on that roster, and yet the streaks that they go through, tops and bottoms, unfathomable.
Dolly crosses, and Odoro swipes left. And it's going to be fascinating because, let's be honest, you get to this point, Dev, you're down to 6 games. We've seen them go 6 unbeaten this year. We've also seen them go 4 or 5
losses in a row consecutively, yeah. To some really questionable teams. With all due respect. I mean, you can't lose Sporting Kansas City to Atlanta 2 at home and throw other games into that argument and expect to be one of the best teams in the league, right? Different characters. It's like they're in costume.
Creates an interesting conversation piece, that's for sure.
Speaking of which, if you had to guess, costumes, Halloween's right around the corner, you've alluded to it.
Yep.
If you had to guess, for Halloween, the day after the 30th, the 31st, math checks out.
Yep.
What would Ben Pierman and Danny Cruz go as?
Danger. Dolly, win. I know who I'm going as, though. Friar Tuck.
You think about it.
I have answers for both. I just enjoy my job too much to give it away so cheaply. That'd be a great segment for USL All Access this week. What every coach is going to the Halloween party as.
Oh, man. I've been very impressed with the 901 FC on the ball tonight. I understand that it's a 3-1 scoreline, but Louisville haven't tried to open themselves up here. Commend them defensively for that, and it's forced Memphis to play with the ball at their feet more than they've had to in matches past. I said coming in, they were nitty, they were gritty, they were fantastic on the counter. Well, that's how they got their goal. It was a brief moment of let off for Louisville City. And yet still, they found a way after that to not only not concede, but control the rest of this game. What a moment this.
It is. Carlos Mogul Jr., 18-year-old from Shelbyville, Kentucky, set to come in here for Louisville City. Del Piccolo, the captain, giving way for Louisville. See Antoine Hopino. And there it is, the captain watching the young man, the Academy product, getting a loud roar, big applause. His debut in the USL Championship. Sub is brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond.
The pride of Martha Lane Collins High School, all state at that level. 12 years old when he first walked into and saw Louisville and Slugger Field. Third player signed from the academy, was involved in MLS preseason friendlies. That tells you right there that they had an idea of what his capability was. Nashville, Austin, Houston, all looks for that young man, but preseason, welcome to the big time, my friend.
And an academy signing for Memphis coming in as well. Max Talley will come in off the bench. The 17-year-old from Dallas, his debut comes this evening. 5 times he's been unused on the bench, most recently over 2 months ago. Steps onto the field now. Conversely, this 18-year-old is having a elongated conversation. Gomez. really a throw?
There's a lot going on back here, and Max Talley is a legend in his own right. Germantown.
Oh,
see what I did there?
I did.
Does retain his college eligibility. Something important to note that they are still looking to push him through the collegiate ranks.
It gives you the option, right? And the same can be said for Mogul when you talk about those USL Academy contracts.
And I promise you that our voiceovers right now have nothing to do with the money that's been slid under the table for their videos being sent out to college coaches as we speak.
Sharpie gets in there, and Mogul sends this into the stands. Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. The turn. Talley knocks it wide. Floated. Cleared this far. We're into the final 10 minutes. This has been the Louisville Bugaboo. And you and I were chatting a little bit. As you see here, okay.
Oh.
That's the man of the match voting.
I'm not sure I know who I would pick, Mike.
Yeah.
Paul. Did you know his middle name was Paul?
He never struck me as a Paul, if I'm being honest.
No. Peter, maybe.
Well, he robbed Peter to pay Paul. Lancaster's done, so he can go vote for one of the 3 man of the match possibilities. He applauds. Next time he takes the field for Louisville in this venue, it's going to be a playoff game. Kyle Gregg replaces Lancaster, a sub brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. That's exactly what Cameron Lancaster did tonight. Above and beyond the call of duty when Louisville needed him right before halftime.
A hat trick it was for the Englishman. I told you there was going to be some sort of response, but could it be in the positive fashion after they conceded to Memphis 901 FC? Another late letdown in the first half inside that 5-minute mark. Now is what I was talking about, though, Mike, in that opening first half of would they rather keep the 0, win 5-0. You're up 3-1, 10 minutes to go. This is where you got to dig in. You have to make sure, no matter what, you do not concede.
All stabbed down. Salazar. There's Sharpie, former Memphis player. And Devin, you and I were chatting before this game. Would Danny Cruz consider bringing in Carlos Mogul in a game where you need to lock down the last 10 minutes and make a statement? And he did. It's telling. Not only that he believes in the young man, but at this point, you also have to consider everything going on around you. You're only 2 weeks to the postseason.
You have to admire the fact, too, that cruising pretty much here in the second half, inside 10, up 2, still shouting the barking orders from the sideline. Entire supporting staff up. Got the boys down in the corner going through the motions. Ooh. Rideshare program just got a new acceptance letter from Kisiadu.
Wilson, well, Select finds its way all the way to the ride share. Fan of that movie?
It's one of my favorites.
Hey, make sure you head to LouCity.com/contests for a chance to win free flights, up to $250 in gift cards and more. LouCity.com/contests. Kisiadu recovers.
One question that we didn't ask.
I struggle to imagine what it could be.
No, sure. No. This is. It's not going to be hot and bothered. Don't worry.
Okay.
I never asked Ben Pierman, anticipating the fact that we were going to see him again in postseason play, if he preferred what the matchup would be. Didn't ask that one.
Oftentimes you and I will ask those questions. It'll be followed by, is this off the record?
Yeah.
Because teams don't think about it.
So think about it.
Floated ball to the backside, header down and wide by Dolly. Well, let's be honest, the Atlantic is far from settled. Miami still has an outside chance to host a game.
I'll wait for that Wednesday game, too. We haven't gotten there yet.
Pat McMahon, Alexi Sawahi will be the last changes here for Louisville. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Good to see a solid 85 from Corbin Bone.
Getting him back to full match fitness, Corbin Bone. The injury that was no longer. Lexi Sawahi.
Same can be said here for Oscar Jimenez as well.
Absolutely. Getting healthy. Sort of interesting how all season long it's been a rotating door since the beginning of injuries, guys in, guys out. You feel like you have everybody back, and then you lose both your holding midfielders. Now McCabe did well for himself tonight.
He did.
It was the biggest question mark coming in that had nothing to do with his talent. We know what he's capable of, but for a role that has been inked into a team sheet for so long. Remember, the transition, it started under John Hackworth. It was Sean Tosh. And then it was Speedy Williams.
Well, and before that, the idea of a single pivot wasn't even
Didn't
really
even
around.
exist. Yeah. It was flat and very different then.
Holpino is through. Holpino mishit that. But it was James Sands who came into it first, and then you went on to Speedy Williams, Paolo dropping into it a little bit. Tosh has played in a pinch there. Tosh so valuable at center back. You bring in Gibson. He's injured. Masoso now out. It's been one thing after another for that position. And in speaking with Danny Cruz, he said, look, I sat down with Niall McCabe for 45 minutes. We've spoken every day this week about the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because in the attacking movements at times, he does sort of fall into that 6 role already.
Well, he knows how to do it going the other direction. I would say that one of the greatest things in terms of depth about this team is the players around you understanding those roles as well, because they've all played them. You have a guy who just 2.5 seasons ago was your starting 6, and that man right there, Sean Tosh. So when a player has that positional awareness and the understanding of where you need to be, it's much easier to help construct what the vision looks like going forward. 901 FC, by the way, on the other side of that, they rotate a lot too. It's the single pivot, it's double, it's 2 flat, 5. They give you so many different looks. Ben Pierman's trying to get to where Danny Cruz is at right now. He's trying to get healthy, honestly. He's got some injuries that have really gotten themselves into trouble, namely on the back line, but even someone like Raul Gonzalez, Andre Reynolds is making his way back, of course, but that affects the flow of everything. And so the chemistry for the inside for Louisville.
Ball across, Salazar slides. Hubbard's there. That would have changed the tenor of this whole conversation in a hurry. Louisville didn't deal with it very well to begin with, but Hubbard smothered it.
Well, the chemistry that is lacking for some areas for Louisville is really been a frustration talking point for Ben Pierman all over, not because of the performances, because of the fact that with so much rotation comes lack of flexibility in certain areas. This is not one of them. You expect an opportunity like this out of a performer, and Michael Salazar to stick this into the back of the net. Great save by Chris Hubbard.
Let's not say that with the injuries he's dealt with, being sent to the bench a couple times, that this isn't a valuable confidence boost for him.
Yes. And there was only so much he could do on the goal.
Yeah.
That's not his fault.
No.
That's conceded, because Salazar,
once he gets in front of Tosh,
game's over. You have no argument whatsoever, and it's easy to look at the goalkeeper and say he conceded. That's not the right answer. Number 2, yes, Tosh was in a bad spot, 100%, but Salazar pulled Tosh to the back post and then made that quick little burst to the front post. So that's all about the striker there.
In the 90th minute now. Openo. Openo arguing about that call. It is a throw here for Memphis. If they can get a goal here soon, could make something of this here at the end. They've had a bit of magic some of these games late recently.
6-1-1 in their last 8 if this result holds.
Turned over. Skylar Thomas turns. Stoppage time brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 3 added minutes.
Second loss in the last 9, Mike. There's not many teams that can say that.
In goes Openo out once but twice.
How interesting is that Wednesday game? A little bit more behind it now, isn't there?
Yeah.
We're not putting anything past Indy 11 on October 30th, which still holds its own weight, but 8 p.m. October 7th, excuse me, AutoZone Park. Michael Insian is going to come with full force.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Devin, but now that both teams are on 44 points,
that's the winner.
The winner of that game wins the number 3 seed.
And
correct?
To push it one step further, a draw actually still favors 901 FC because of goal differential.
Okay.
So it's 1-1-1. You initially look at results against each other, and then it's the goals within that matchup.
Yep. Going to be chasing here late in the night. So as it stands, Wednesday night will be decisive for Memphis as it pertains to their seeding, and we can now say with complete assurity the division's going to be decided next Saturday, no matter what Birmingham does tomorrow. The question is who will have the advantage going into the day. Fascinating. This is the only division that's really in question. I mean, El Paso, Tampa Bay, and Phoenix signed, sealed, delivered for a while.
Yes and no. I mean, everybody knew El Paso was going to win the Mountain. They just decided to draw 16 consecutive games.
Well, Louisville decided to play away from home for the better part of 2 months.
All right,
here we are.
All jokes aside, they played 30 games this year. They have 10 draws. That's crazy.
Yep.
So do San Antonio and Colorado Springs, though.
There's the full-time whistle. Could these teams see each other one more time? Louisville takes the season series. They take a hugely important win here as it pertains to the Central Division. They win their regular season home finale. And Cameron Paul Lancaster is the Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. It is Cameron Paul Lancaster.
Knew it the whole time. 428 votes. 420 from this guy right here. Why do you think I didn't talk for the last 5 minutes?
He was stuffing the box. And Chris Hubbard comes up with a couple key saves down the stretch. Let's take a look at the save of the game. The good hand save of the game is presented by Allstate. In the dying seconds, made sure there was no drama here.
Oh, it gets a little lucky on the bounce back from Wes Sharpie, but how good does Chris Hubbard do here? The slide over. You don't know where it's going, Mike. Could be a touch underneath in the near post. Salazar bringing it up high to the back post. Bit of pressure, bit of praise. Chris Hubbard, more importantly, keeps it out of the back of the net.
And he won't get the Mortensen Family Dental clean sheet. But all in all, a pretty clean game, even if it doesn't call for a healthy, clean smile. Cameron Lancaster's got a wide, toothy grin tonight. All 3 goals for Louisville. Memphis hard done by that penalty. Alan Wynn making that face for a reason. Gorski Law Office postgame is coming up. Louisville 3 points, 3-1 winners.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Kroger produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle. Did you know Toyota has more all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else?
15 to be exact, including the legendary Off-Road King 4Runner.
The best-selling Camry made even better with all-wheel drive.
This Venza hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Or Sienna with a best-in-class 630-mile driving range.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing up to 72 months on any remaining new 21 Sienna or Venza. When you run the numbers,
Toyota is #1.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Gorski Law Office postgame, Ownby and Louisville. The offense clicking tonight, 3-1 winners against Memphis. And now it sets up for both teams hugely important upcoming games. Tonight's Toyota move of the game. Toyota, let's go places. Ownby, whoop!
Yeah, great little hesitation here from Brian Ownby. Everybody in the stadium, including myself, thought he was going to hit it after this beautiful first touch. He could have if he wanted to, but that's the greatness of Brian Ownby. Keeps you guessing. He's done it all season long. Why would he change now?
All right, here's the Dan O's seasoning game summary. We begin the 21st minute. Cameron Lancaster, number 18 of the year.
Not a bad ball by Jonathan Gomez, mind you, and he can go a couple of places here. He's got Corbin Bowen on the back post. He's got the streaking run of Jorge Gonzalez to the top of the 6 on the near post side, and then, of course, Cameron Lancaster. Why would you pick him out? Oh, yeah. 69 career regular season goals. That's why. Response, 901 FC. Again, inside 5 minutes at the end of the first half, Louisville City have been horrendous. It strikes them again. So does Salazar, putting this into the back of the net for his 6th on the season.
Truth of the matter, that's going to be the only blemish tonight for Lancaster. Well, that's a 50, 40, whatever yard knuckleball that gets by Cropper.
This is also the easiest assist Corbin Bowen is ever going to get credited with because of Cameron Lancaster and his exploits from about 40 yards out. That's his 2nd. And then on the other side of half, it was interesting. The way things started, how is it going to look like with the way that things finished? Great move here by Jonathan Gomez in behind. It is controversial because he is outside the box. Allen Wynn, it's a foul. We understand that. Referee awards a penalty. Cameron Lancaster rewards the fans with 3rd goal of the night.
Lancaster's 2nd career hat trick. 72 goals in his career, 20 now this year. C&L Heating and Air full-time match stats. Louisville more possession. Memphis got a little more of the ball as this game progressed once Louisville held a more significant lead late. 3-1, they got the 3 points they wanted.
The biggest thing any Louisville fan should take away from this is that it has been a very different season, and yet right here, this is a very different game. They took what was given to them. They didn't force the issue. They stayed composed, didn't get unbalanced by 901 FC, and it is the most efficient, that's the word, that I have seen them in the final third in recent memory.
All right, here we go. It's Tulsa officially clinching here within the last few minutes now. They are 7 points clear of Oklahoma City with 2 games left. So the division is officially sealed with the top 4. Tulsa, Memphis Wednesday, Birmingham, Louisville on Saturday. Both will be decisive.
Can't wait. It's going to be a fantastic run for the Central Division to close the season out. All 4 of which will get an opportunity come postseason time, but that man right there and everybody else donning a Lou City jersey will get an opportunity to make it run at the #1 overall in the Central Division next Saturday the 30th.
Devin will have the call next week on WBKI. Game will also stream on ESPN+. Thanks for watching the Gorski Law Office post-game. Louisville wins it 3-1 for our entire Vista WorldLink NEP crew, led by producer Sharni Yerke, director Eric Falero, Manny Simone, our entire team in Louisville, Devin Kerr alongside. This is Friar Tuck saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for the Central Division title game.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.